Peace, love, and light. Let's keep saying it until we all get it right. Well, let's keep saying it until I say you got it right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in. Welcome to my channel. I am Infamous Q. Today we're going to do another Q Talk. I did my first Q Talk. It ain't really got that many likes on it or any new subscribers. I'm trying to raise my subscribers up. You guys, do me a favor. I need to get my first 100 subscribers. So how about if you're already watching the video, go ahead and like it and go ahead and subscribe. I always see a lot of new YouTubers that I watch say that when they're trying to grow their channel, and it works. So you know what? If you're already in, you like my vibe, my energy, you like my hat, girl, go on and subscribe and like. I need your help. So let's go ahead and do that. Today, ain't got time for no snacks and no drinks. I'm doing this video before I make my dinner. I've not long got home, but this is a video that I wanted to make. I kind of start thinking about it a couple days ago, and I jotted some things down because I said, you know what? This is something near and dear to me because it involves, the loss of someone and, and the loss when someone is murdered. If you know or have watched, my stuff on Instagram, I've done a video over there. I don't have a lot of subscribers, so you probably don't know, but I have three children, or I had three children. My oldest son was murdered. He was murdered back in 2006. I can talk about my son's death, because number one, he was a good person, had a great spirit. If you knew him, you really loved him. And he left, an impression, even though, he was murdered at 18. I don't want to get in the ins and outs of that or how my son was murdered. I may or may not do that in a video. Like I said, I can't have a conversation about my son, but just with these killings that are going on with the police. I had a girlfriend who had a brother who was murdered last year by police. I'm in Houston. This happened in Houston. Things are still going on with that. And it's traumatizing for a family to lose someone when you don't know what happened. My son was not murdered by police, but just knowing, or having to experience that, I understand that pain. But I can't imagine if it had been done by the police and now you got all of that going on. My son was murdered during Katrina, when we had the hurricanes here in Houston, and we had all the people from the different cities and this and that. Of course, when you get a lot of people in the city, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly with all of that. So, I know there are a lot of great people who are here from other places, and some of them still here. My best friend is from Louisiana. She, has been here since, and I love her to death. Anyway, hey, Monty girl. Anyway, I want to say that this is something near and dear to me because, again, I've suffered a loss in a way where my child was murdered. He was only 18. He was weeks away from his 19th birthday. He was not a bad person. Anybody that knew him loved him. So the young man I want to talk about today, his name is Tyre Nichols. Unless you've been up under a rock like I had until I heard his story, he's the latest, victim of police brutality. And this was, this what I'm hearing about him. And when I hear mothers speak about their children, that's how I feel like I have a connection with, who that person was. When I hear their mama speak on, just her words and what it is she's trying to get out. Because with Black women, like a lot of times when I tell people I have a child who is deceased, he was killed, as a Black person, you might think that, oh, they're going to think like, he was a bad person or he did something wrong. So I used to feel like that. But I stopped myself in my tracks with that because, number one, I know my son. I know he was a good person, and I don't have to spend my time proving that to people, and his friends really loved him. His close friends really loved him. And he almost was the type, he had an old soul. I had him for 6 years. It was just me and him, me being a single parent. So I bade him good, and Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Isley Brothers. He had an old soul already, but um, just you make all your mistakes, you learn everything with that first child. So I just revel in my positivity about my son and who he was. So when I hear a mom speak on her child and what it is she wants to say when her child's been murdered, no matter how it's happened, that's what I listen for. And what I got from Miss Nichols, about her son was like, he was solid. He was always smiling. He was happy. He was like a creative spirit. Like he was active. Like he liked photography, so that's creative. And he was a skateboarder. That's artistic, creative, and in that realm of things, sporty, and he followed rules. This was a good person. This young man was only 29 years old. I believe this incident happened January the 10th, you know, and the sad part about this, that I want to get into a little bit, is that, five black police officers were fired and for like beating him literally to death. You know, I didn't really want to watch the video, and I didn't really like watch it. I saw a little bit of it, and I just wanted to see, what happened. Like most people, I just want to see what happened. Like, why did they? Was there any reason why they did this? Like this young man, like I said, I didn't watch the whole video, but from what I heard, other people that have watched it, I was like, he was complying. This young man was doing. First off, he didn't know what the hell was going on. These officers were not in really uniform. They were kind of in plain clothes. They were part of some kind of squad or whatever called Scorpion something or whatever. So, from what I heard, people knew of these police when they did these little stings or whatever and would stop people. And from what I heard, like from the attorney, is it Ben Crump? I think Ben Crump is the attorney for the family. So when I heard him talk about how from the jump, these officers were already on a high level of MFs and get your ass here, they were already like on a high, to really get things popping. So to me, that's very suspicious, too. And it's very suspicious that it was five black officers. But as of recent, I heard that there were actually seven officers that were fired. And as of, I think today, a white officer, his name is Preston Hemphill, has been fired as well. And as of, I think, today. So I'm like, that's odd. So, and then the report says that they fired seven people. So there's yet another person who we haven't seen their face, but they plastered all five of these brothers, on the TV, letting us see who they are right away up front. I mean, they were like arrested or fired, and charges, came up immediately, like within less than 20 days, according to Mr. Crump, the family's attorney. So, and I'm not like piping for them. They brought shame on themselves, their families, just like Miss Nichols said. They brought shame on their families, on the black community, on the police force, on the nation. It's just sad. It's like shameful, and it's evil, and like I said, I don't know what's going on with this, but I don't know, something ain't right about this. But so I'm like, okay, so Preston Hemphill just got, fired from the police department, and he's not facing murder charges yet, according to the family's attorney, Mr. Crump. He's the one that pulled Tyre out of the car. He's the one who kind of got the fuel going, and supposedly he said, I hope they stomp your black, whatever. So, it even ignited it. Mind you, they were already up here with their energy of what was going on. And I don't even know why they stopped this young man. I still haven't figured that out yet, or haven't heard the actual, reason why they pulled him over. Anyway, as they described, in the video, like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing, so I really didn't see the them stomping him, any of that. I really didn't want to see all of that. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't have to see all of it. I get it. But at some point after complying, this young man, he knew, like, they're gonna freaking kill me. Like, I might have a better chance if I run for it. Like, he wasn't that far. I don't think from home or something. They said 100 yards or something from his mom's place. And I was just like, oh my God, just my heart was just racing thinking about that, because it kind of made me think about, my son, when I heard that he cried out, to his mom. And I'm just like, oh my God, because wow, to hear your son, or just to hear a grown man call out to his mother in a situation like this, he had to be like terrified, like, I might not make it. He was like calling on his mom, who clearly wasn't there. So that tells you the fear that he had for his life. And my heart just goes out to him. I'm so sorry this happened to him. Nobody deserves this. No one. No one deserves this type of treatment for a traffic violation or to get pulled over. That doesn't mean you should not make it home. And I believe he even said that, I just want to make it home. I want to get home. Like, what did I do? What did I do? I heard that he kept asking, what did he do? So let's, getting back to who he was. He was a good young man. He had a son, a 4-year-old son, he leaves behind. That's so sad. He was 29. He had his whole life ahead of him, and his mom described him as, he marched to the beat of his own drum. He did his own thing, and he had supposedly just come from doing some photography, of the sun, setting that day. So I thought, wow, this is so crazy how beautiful something like that can be, and for his day to end in this way, where he ended up in the hospital, and I believe he died like 3 days later, due to kidney failure and cardiac arrest. That is just horrible. And I did see like a snapshot of him in his hospital bed, and it did not look good. I mean, he looked like really bad. Like, they really put hands on him, like, unnecessarily. It's just so shameful. And there's an evilness to it. It's just something that I can't even describe. Like, who are you to do something like that? And I can not understand it, but when racism is fueling this, and these are white men, you see the hatred. But these are black men who did this. And I know that black officers do this. They like to shake, rattle, and roll the black community, and, have that pompous, not all black cops, but I know that there are cops like that. And somebody posted something about this story on Instagram. A friend of mine